9 to 5. What a way to make a living. Crypto is on the rise, making that dough in the crypto paradigm. Watching it go, buying low, selling high. Riding the wave, I'm here to stay. Living in the digital age. No banks, no fees, just decentralized. It's crypto paradise. Ooh. No banks, no fees.
Good morning from paradise. It is Thursday, September 4th. The Surf Boys are here. We're here to talk markets. We are here to talk about this shitty job reports. These shitty job numbers just came out. You know what I love nothing more in this market right now is shitty job numbers. I know it sounds horrible. I know it's a terrible thing to say, but the Fed is going to cut rates now, guys. If you're in the financial markets, if you're in risk assets, you are rooting for bad job numbers. I know that sounds crazy, but that's where we're at. So we'll cover the job openings data that just came out, absolutely abysmal. What does this mean for rate cuts? What does it mean for Ethereum? What does it mean for altcoins? I know you guys are waiting. We're all waiting. When the hell is alt season going to start? Guys, it's right around the corner. It's right around the corner. Just remember, we've had this run-up, $15,000 Bitcoin to where we're at now. ETH off the lows, $1,500 up to where we're at now. All in amidst these high rates. We haven't had quantitative easing. That is coming. That is coming. So hang on to your hats, hang on to your horses, stay convicted. We're almost there, guys. And root for these bad job numbers. Let's go.
Oh, yeah, it's again, patience, matter of time. Rates are going to get cut. Things are going to start falling in place for the timing for Bitcoin to start pumping again. People are going to continue to ape into, these institutions are going to continue to ape into ETH, continue to buy into Bitcoin. We're getting closer and closer for the U.S. to announce they're going to buy as a nation to start buying Bitcoin. The effects of these stablecoin bills are going to start going into place where it goes from, JP Morgan's talking about making their own stablecoin, Amazon and Facebook and Google are talking about making their own stablecoin, to the stablecoins are here, they're put into use, they're generating transaction volume on Ethereum. Like there's so much in the background going on right now. The digitization of real world assets, tokenization of gold, everything. It's all happening. It's just going to take time. We're still in the speculative phase side of things for all this implementation. We've seen already how much that's pumped the markets. Phase 2 is when this thing, the rubber hits the road and we see the actual impact of the, all of these different catalysts taking effect. So, again, be patient, stack up some dry powder so you can take advantage of these dips as they come, and DCA and HODL as always.
Yeah, I mean, kind of sad that we're rooting for bad job numbers, but I guess that forces the hands and gets the rate cuts going, which we want. We want some quantitative easing. We had the rally yesterday for Bitcoin. What do you know? These lines that never change, that was the rejection point for Bitcoin, and now we are back down here on a support level around $110,000. The same applies to a lot of stocks are red, and that means that Ethereum is probably red as well. 43.85 continues to hold this range, though. That's the thing. The longer that Ethereum base is, the bigger that the breakout can be, and it continues to maintain this range. So we're still looking for higher for Ethereum. Still major bullish support, still all the way down to 3,900. I know if Ethereum drops $400, if Ethereum drops 10%, people will shit their pants. But that is big support, so that's why I think you should be bullish on Ethereum and feeling good about it. And that leads me to some of the best opportunities is the dip on SBET and BMNR. Still higher lows, still much higher than our buys that we've given on here. But the reason it is a good deal is right here. You got SharpLink Gaming at a 0.96 MNAV. That means that you can buy SharpLink Gaming, which is increasing the Ethereum per share for cheaper at a discount to just buying Ethereum yourself in Coinbase. Bitmine 1.09. It means a slight premium over buying Ethereum yourself and getting Thomas Lee, the Bitcoin they hold, and the passive income per share for holding these. These are not times to be dumpers or not times to fade these assets. This is the time to buy these assets. This is the whole point of these assets, and this MNAV is giving you an indicator to buy it up. So that's what I'd like to see. I'm getting some feedback, I think, from Crypto Armorer.
Yeah, we got a really bad echo going here.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can fix that. But got some good comments too coming in, by the way. First of all, Moon Mutt, let's go. Let's go. Thanks for joining the show, buddy. And then Ron's taking issue with your suggestion, Nate, to dollar cost average because his OnlyFans is not printing for him. I guess on account of him being a dude. So there's that.
Feet, bro. You gotta go with the
pics.
feet stuff.
Feet. Okay, that's the alpha. This is where we've come to. The point of this weird market now, where we're given alpha on how to make money on OnlyFans if you're a dude. So yeah, we're having a good time over here. And then G-Man, loving the alpha. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you jumping in here. I will say, just circling back to the discussion around jobs. I know it's a little cynical, and I was sort of saying tongue in cheek to root for these bad job numbers. But that is what will force the Fed's hand, right? They weren't going to cut rates if the job numbers were coming in strong. We know that. So this is going to force their hand. Powell already went out in Jackson Hole and essentially stated as much. So, we just have to wait until September 17th, and then we see exactly how big of the cut it's going to be. It's going to be a 25 base point or 50 base point. But I'll go ahead and share my screen here, talking about some job numbers so you guys can sort of see the data that we're looking at. We are down now, these job opening numbers, lowest they've been since the pandemic. So it has been 2 years since we've seen job openings this low. And by the way, this is not the only sort of negative reading coming out of the labor market, but you see all the analysts, the talking heads, it's a turning point for the labor market, another crack, another data pointer saying how this job market is frozen, difficult for anyone to get a job now. And should we really be surprised? I mean, the Fed has had these rates so high for so long to tamp out inflation. How do they tamp out inflation? Well, by making people for hard to move jobs, hard to get a raise. So it all is working as basically they planned it to work, right? You can say they achieved the soft landing because we didn't get a recession and inflation's basically back down to the target of 2%. But we're at a turning point. We're at an inflection point. The Fed now has to pivot. And they will, in fact, cut rates in September here. And that's going to cause the market to run. So as cynical as it is, bad job numbers, I mean, this is what causes the Fed to cut the rates.
Yeah, I know there's some other news articles. You want to switch over to those?
Absolutely. Let me just share some more commentary. It's actually a good friend of ours named Gav, who's from the Kai community, holding it strong. With Kai still holding it down, the last Inu been through the ups and the downs, sitting now at around $700,000 market cap, still with like 5,500 holders. So the same holder count has been in place for a year now. It's just a lot of whales have sold out, decreased the size of their bag, and that's going to provide an opportunity for the next uptrend once the market gets risk on again. Obviously, memes have underperformed over the past, 1 or 2 months. I don't think any meme has done particularly well. Maybe a handful of new ones popping out. But memes have been struggling, as have all altcoins. So, that's why the title of this stream is Bad Job Report, Fed Rate Cuts, Altcoins Pumping. So that's what's coming here next, boys. And we got Todd in the house. Smash and subscribe. Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, it's all just a matter of time, and that sucks to say that, but still getting a feedback every time we talk, Cryptometer, so I think your mic's just picking up when we talk. But, there is some outliers, there is some hope, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're starting to see that. We saw that overnight. Bitminer once again bought more Ethereum, even though price is going down. The strategic reserve companies are buying it up, and that's why their MNAV is literally near 1. I'm going to repeat it again. Any MNAV less than 1, if you believe Ethereum is going higher, that is the buy opportunity if you have traditional stock money. And now you have Bitmine that just bought another several $100 million worth of ETH during this dip that isn't even reflected. So they probably have a negative less than 1 MNAV as well. So you know, those companies are going to lead Ethereum higher, and you want to get long those assets. And Ethereum is going to lead the market higher, which means that altcoins are going to run. We've been talking about this. Ethereum has started running. The altcoins just aren't giving us more than a couple days to react. We see some green candles for a day or a week, and then they give it back up. So when do we get out of this kind of doldrum of the market? Well, if you believe in the 4-year halving cycle, it's got to happen almost imminently. And even if you believe in the extending, I think Q4 is the time to get really hyped, and that's in less than a month from now.
Yeah, I'm getting cozy in my seat right here. I'm fully prepared for full, slow, weird, volatile September, and even October. Could be slow. I'm fully prepared for the market to resume maybe end of October, even early November.
Yeah, we have a news story to touch on here in a moment about whether the 4-year halving cycle is still intact. I know it's something we talk about a lot here on the channel, but we'll pull up some another analyst's opinion on that in a minute. But if you look at the news report around the purchase of was it $65 or so million, Bitmain's purchase of Ethereum, they haven't used any leverage. This is all spot, and they now own 1.5% of the circulating supply. They're trying to get to 5%, right? And these other similarly situated companies are also aiming to get 2, 3, 4, 5. One of them apparently trying to get to 10%. We touched on that one yesterday. So this is not ending. It's really just starting. I love the fact they haven't used leverage though, right? That reduces the risk that this all comes blowing up in everybody's face. So positive news all around. ETH, sort of waiting game here. I think is the market is waiting to see what the Fed does, but things are looking strong. I think Ethereum's going to continue to outperform, and as Nate likes to say, we are all pre-rich.
That's right.
Yeah, and talking about altcoins that did have a little bit of green candles, Teddy over on Pulse Chain was up 58% yesterday, which puts any buy recommendation that we've given you over the months in the green, and we have taken profit on that once before. The reason that we also root for Teddy Bear is, if you remember, that was one of the initial LPs of the Surf token. Maybe we can get the founder on for another interview, or maybe get some support and marketing from them moving forward. But there is an LP of Surf and Teddy together. So when Teddy does well, that's going to help drive some value and some price appreciation for the Surf token. Obviously, it needs to do more than just have one good green day. But the fact that it's still showing life, they have some plans coming. Hopefully Teddy at $2.25 million market cap now. Can it get to 22 million? Can it get to 200 million? I don't know, but that would help Surf a lot. And it's good to see those guys still working and getting some green candles off the lows.
Yeah, I think Pulse Chain just needs to recover a bit here. I think with Pulse Chain, you had a bit of the buy the rumor, sell the news sort of phenomenon happening where, and I know Pulse Chain itself, or the core assets are doing pretty well, but everything's been mostly down the past few weeks. But, you had the big marketing campaign sort of announced, right? The unveiling of the tablets that Richard Hart is sending out, 400,000 tablets going out to high-income households all around the country. I'm bullish on it. I think it's nothing but positive. But the market, some people, I think, had a negative reaction. And then it's also just to buy the rumor, sell the news. It's like, okay, this thing's coming. We didn't know what it was. Okay, market's grinding higher. And then the thing gets unveiled. The news drops, so to speak. And, you see the market sell off. So I think we're in a period of time where alts are sort of just languishing and chilling. Nothing's really exploding higher. I'm glad to see Teddy doing well and outperforming a bit. But if you're looking for those explosive green candles coming every other day, that's just not this market right now. So we got to stay patient.
Yeah, that makes it less exciting. Tuning in, we don't have the alpha calls. There's a couple months there where every day we're giving you updated TA on 15 altcoins and giving you the alpha calls. And, we were dead right about picking the low on Ethereum, and that thing did a double and a triple off the low. But right now, there isn't much going on. It's more staying in tune to seeing what's going on in the news, seeing our bias for where prices are going. Giving you that morale and momentum to stay long, as the trend is still your friend up and to the right for Ethereum and for Bitcoin, and kind of trying to position ourselves in some of these altcoins that we already have positions in, or that you could buy the dip on. Some of them you can't quite buy as cheap as we got them, but some of them are getting close. So, if you missed the opportunity the first go around, if we're still talking about it, you can pick them up here on the dip, maybe slightly higher than when we bought them originally.
Shout out to Martin, by the way. Good buddy of ours, holding down in the Surf chat, dropping some provocative Memes, thank you for those. Love to see those. See you on the beach, as we like to say. So hello, Martin. And then Moonmutt. I don't know how Moonmutt feels about Hex. Is this a bullish post or bearish post about Hex? I don't know.
I think he's saying Hex and Sketch like Etch-a-Sketch, like saying that Richard Hart's sending out Etch-a-Sketches, but since it's promoting Hex, it's a Hex and Sketch.
Oh, that's what
I
they're
think he's
calling
doing.
it now. Okay. So there you go. I don't know yet. People aren't taking it super seriously, I guess. Maybe at least some people aren't. Some people I'm seeing are super positive about it. Others are bearish. I just don't think we haven't yet seen the full effect of it because I think it like
They haven't gone out
mentioned
yet.
the other day, they haven't even gone to people's houses yet, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah, they haven't. You know,
anything.
my perspective on it, they haven't got to the houses yet, so you need to first get them to the houses. Then number two, Ethereum is fallen from all-time high of 4,800 down to 4,300, so that's not helping. That's downward pressure. And, you know, I think some people are not taking it serious or like, oh, that's it. But it's like, what did you expect? He literally told you a physical device. Like, what do you think he was going to send people? Rolexes? Like, it was either they send you a plain postcard or they could send you a digital postcard, which I thought it was, where you open it and, like, his video, maybe it would be his face talking, hey, Richard Hart here, the founder of Pulse Chain. You need to check out pulsechain.com or Hex, which I think would have been cool and maybe people liked. But with this item, it's like, this isn't an item you just throw away. I think the play is, hey, the kids keep it, take it out to Applebee's, and you see it on somebody else's table, and the website lives on. So regardless of what you think it's going to be, you knew it was going to be a physical device, so I don't know what else more bullish he could have done. And then number two, just the fact that he's putting his money behind it, and he's been preaching for years that he believes real-life marketing is the play. I think he's going to pump the market himself. You know, he's going to do everything he can to try to manipulate the charts higher. You know, he doesn't want these red candles. If people receive this, they look it up and it's red candles, they're definitely not going to buy. He understands the conversion rate goes higher if there's green candles. So obviously you need the help of Ethereum. You need a little Richard Hart help or whale help, and then we'll see what kind of output it produces. But we've had conviction that we think Pulse Chain is going to be a big runner, and so far it's been right in line with Ethereum's performance. It went like 3x off the low. Ethereum was up like 3.2x off the low. So slightly lagging Ethereum, and you know, continuing to do its thing off the lows, but we want to see that outperformance really kick in, as that helps assets like PTGC, that helps assets like Surf, and that's what we're here for, is those big gains. And obviously when Surf does well, Crypto Paradise does more well, because we have projects reach out to us, want to do marketing for us, giving us insight, info, and alpha that we can present to you guys, the community, and that's where we make those big gains.
Well, and he's a smart guy. He understands a couple important things. Number one, that this isn't going to be the only thing he does. It's not like he's going to be like, oh, I sent out some iPads, that's it. Like, it didn't work. You know, this is one part of a much larger, you know, marketing plan that he's got in the works. I'm very, very sure of that. And the second thing is the timing. Timing with these kind of things is so crucial. And again, Richard Hart knows this. I wouldn't be surprised if he delays actually sending these out until markets are improved, or delays whatever phase 2, next step, whatever of his marketing plan is. If you can, you know, spend enough money to move the charts a little bit if everything else is down, but it's going to cost 10 times as much money, and it's going to have a fraction of the effect it would if the markets were better. So it's not a good time to be going out and engaging in, you know, high dollar spend, you know, noise campaigns to get eyes on Pulse Chain. So you know, I would imagine as long as the markets are down, as long as things are, you know, going sideways, until we get you know, a better positioning where people are actually interested in putting money into the market, it's smart for them to wait. Like it'd be silly for them right now to be going and dumping a bunch of money into a marketing campaign while everything is bleeding red. It's going to have little to no effect, and essentially waste money where it could have a, you know, much more powerful effect when markets are looking better.
Yeah, the other nice thing is this is the first 400,000 devices, and he's hinted at millions of devices. So this is, like you said, just wave one of this idea. But there's going to be multiple waves with just this. We'll see what else he does in the background. But the other nice thing is these devices are costing a few dollars per device, probably $10 per device if you count the shipping. And none of the sacrifice funds have been touched. There's still over 166,000 Ethereum in that wallet. So this is coming out of his own pocket and getting done by him without even having to touch the sacrifice funds. That's another thing. There's $750 million sitting there. So if you think this is the only marketing, well, there's $750 million worth of ETH that says otherwise.
Yeah, I think if you look at how much he's spent already on this, it's in the tune of millions. And so it would be sort of foolish to think that that's the end of it, right? Oh, that's all he's going to do. Just send these out. He's not going to spend money to pump the charge. He's not going to do any follow-on marketing. This is just be-all, end-all. So that doesn't make sense to me. So I think, again, patience is the name of the game. Like anything else right now in this market, let's let this campaign play out. Let's not judge a book by its cover prematurely. And let's see what else Richard Hart has in store. I know from my own self, I am holding all my surf, of course. I'm holding all my PLS. I'm holding all my other pulse chain assets that I have. Staking Rhino. I mean, I have a lot of different pulse chain assets now, and holding them all because I'm not in the business of selling lows. So just hold tight here. Let's see what Richard Hart has in store, and I think it's all gonna be completely fine.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of short form content coming out about surf soon because the dashboard is almost done on Crypto Paradise to look the way we want to look. And that's going to give a great insight for people who are new to surf or who already own surf to see what's going on a daily basis. Even when there's low volume, there's still surf being given out as reflection, still surf being burnt, and still surf being added to LPs. I think the most eye-opening thing for me on the data is how much the initial LPs were of a lot of the pools with surf and how big they've grown. Even with surf sitting here at 750,000 market cap and Pulse Chain only 2x off the lows, those LPs are already pretty big. So what happens when surf does a 10x and Pulse does a 5x? Those LPs are going to be absolutely massive, driving a lot of volume and a great opportunity for a microcap gem to really explode. And that's kind of the idea of the liquidity web. Building it at the lows and it grows over time with the price appreciation. I think let's take a quick break on the crypto talk real quick. And I think you guys might like this. And a lot of people in the chat probably do as well. This is NFL. Day one starts today. I think Crypto Amaru likes it because I think you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. What is the, maybe we need to do picks here on the live show. Who are we picking? If you were to do money line bets, hey, not financial advice, but when the crypto markets are slow, you can get quick gains in a couple hours on some NFL picks. Let's just do the Thursday night game. Who do you got today if it was money line?
I'm glad you pivoted over this topic because the Eagles are my team, baby. And I'm riding high off of last year's Super Bowl dominant win against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they can go for a repeat, actually, this year. I think the Philadelphia Eagles are that good, and I don't see any other team really having as a completed team as they have. We can talk more about football as the year goes on. This is an obvious game. Cowboys just trade away Micah Parsons. They don't have a good of a roster as it is. Their DBs, all their cornerbacks are coming off of injury. At least Trevon Diggs is, and he's their best player. Trayvon Diggs, I should say. Eagles are a better team all around. The offensive line is better. Saquon Barkley is the best running back in football. They have better wide receivers, although the Cowboys now have a very good wide receiver core. They brought on George Pickens. But Eagles just won the Super Bowl. This is in Philadelphia. They're going to be unveiling the banner. That place is going to be rocking. And then here come the Cowboys limping into town, just having traded away their best player. The Eagles line, I think, is 8.5, right? 8.5. Eagles are going to cover that. So Eagles stomped the Cowboys last year twice. Both games they met each other. They were both like complete blowouts. And the second one was like 41-7. It was a joke. So Dak Prescott didn't play now. But in any event, Eagles are going to win. I don't bet on sports because I think people don't make money doing that, and I think it's dumb to bet on sports. If you're looking to make money for fun, do it, fine. But not to make money because you probably won't. But the Eagles are going to cover. The Eagles are going to dominate this game. The Cowboys are not that good, and the Eagles are the best team in football. That's it.
It sounds like you say you don't bet on sports, but you wanted to take the points at 8 points. I would just, I believe the Eagles will win as well, but, the one thing is the banners, just that emotions. But, hey, sounds like a free double up to me. Take the Eagles money line over the Cowboys, get 80% of your money back. Bet $10, probably win $8. What do you think, Nate? And we'll move on to the next Crypto Paradise topic.
I grew up in the States. I played football, love football, but I haven't lived in the U.S. in 10 years. I don't think I've watched more than a couple quarters of football combined in the last maybe 5 years. So I don't know jack shit. My little brother's a huge Eagles fan, has been since he started watching football as a kid. So he definitely agree with Amaro that the Cowboys are about to get stomped tonight. But my pick would be don't listen to anything I say because I haven't got a damn clue what I'm talking about when it comes to football.
Hey, you're usually the person who wins. Like, say we did this all year and kept a spreadsheet. Nate somehow would get more wins than we would.
Well, football is a very, very difficult sport to predict for the most part. But one great strategy, it doesn't work anymore. But back when the Patriots had their dynasty and Tom Brady was playing, Just bet like the money line Tom Brady like winning every game, and like you'll like every year you'll like just crush it because he was like going 14-3 every year. So or the Eagles, that new dynasty, I think there's a chance that they will be. We'll see how because remember they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, almost beat the Chiefs, missed it last year, or missed it the previous year, and then last year they win it. So is this the start of a dynasty for the Eagles? Is it smart to just bet them every game? I don't bet on sports, but if I was a betting man, I would probably go ahead and do that. Roan is fit. I want to get a comment here from Roan before we move on.
Do a little DCE, dollar costing the Eagles.
There you go. Oh, I'm loving this conversation. So Roan, he's Finnish, knows nothing of the NFL. Soccer, yeah, of course, soccer is the sport of the world. We're the only outliers who like the NFL. Although I will say this. The NFL is doing their darndest to try to get the world to watch it. I mean, they did a game in Brazil last year. I think another one in Brazil this year. They're doing games in Germany, the UK.
I think they're gonna burn themselves with overexpansion, and they're gonna lose ground here in America doing that. There's a lot of Americans who don't like that. They're even talking about having the Super Bowl overseas now, and that got a ton of negative backlash. It's America's sport. You don't put the biggest game in the world. That's what they're talking about. London, of all places, as well.
Well, I don't think you want to do that because to make fans fly out, although the Super Bowl already costs an insane amount of money, so only rich people can go as it is. I don't go to football games, by the way, because I'm cheap and they're too expensive to go to, and you can watch them at home for free. So, you could argue they're overextending themselves, it's too expensive, they got problems with injuries, this, that, the other, but, I mean, the value of the league just keeps going up like this.
Yeah. The World Statistics actually posted about this 2 hours ago. Most popular sport by country. You see cricket up there quite a bit, but you see soccer or football, as you would think of it, Roan, is up there almost all over the world. So you're right on that. But if you look at Finland, hockey, ice hockey, you're not a big ice hockey fan? I know the NHL is the biggest league in the world, even though here in the United States, ice hockey is probably one of the lowest pro sports out there. If you count the WNBA, maybe the WNBA is lower, but I don't really count that as a sport. So yeah, I'm surprised you're not a big ice hockey fan. You probably know a little bit about the NHL. Canada does very well in the NHL as well. They got some teams, but yeah, soccer is the sport of the world.
Probably a big ice fishing fan too, being from Finland. I know quite a few Finnish guys, big outdoorsmen, big hunters, fishers, etc. up there. I'm a big fan myself.
Now that's definitely not a sport. Okay, we're talking about not sports. WNBA, I mean, that's a sport, especially now with Caitlin Clark, and she's popular.
It's a sport. It's just a joke. Nobody actually wants to watch it, but that's okay.
I don't, but apparently some people watch it. I don't know. The league still loses money
every year,
as I understand.
While
but ice fishing is not a sport, Nate. That is definitely not a sport. That is barely a pastime.
I like Mongolia here. Mongolian wrestling is their #1 sport. That's pretty funny.
Pretty specific.
Yeah.
It's a big world, folks. It's a big world. I know we're very U.S.-centric on this channel, but maybe it's a reminder that, hey, big world, 8 billion people, 9 billion people. How many own crypto? Forget how many watch the NFL. How many own crypto? It's probably less people watch, less people own crypto than watch the NFL around the world. So we're early on both. We're early on both, I think.
Well, we have diverged from the topic quite a bit. Is there any other crypto-related news that we need to talk about? And Ethereum is at the all-important 4,339 level, right around that 4,350 level. Very important. We'll see what happens. The markets, let's see, NASDAQ did just flip red from positive 40 to negative 35, so nothing crazy, but that does cause downward pressure and uncertainty on the markets. Do you think we just sit here sideways until the Fed decides to actually officially cut rates? And if the Fed doesn't cut rates, do we see a massive sell-off?
Well, yeah. I mean, if the Fed doesn't cut rates, of course we see a massive sell-off because that would be completely unexpected, and that would be, just flying in the face of the data, and of course be bad. Higher rates is bad for risk assets. So yeah, absolutely, that'd be terrible. I don't see that's happening. I think we're up to like 90, again, around 90%. The prediction markets are betting 90% or so rate cut. So I think it's going to happen. We have jobs numbers, official jobs numbers, I think coming out on Friday. And so I think there's definitely a world where the market starts to sort of front run the rate cut, right? We start to pump a little bit leading up to the inevitable cut if that's what we all decided is going to happen. So that could happen. Or look, we could just be languishing and sideways until the 17th. and then we have an explosive move. So let's just see. Fingers crossed. I think Nate brought up a good point the other day, or was the day before, that actually, when you look at the history of these cuts, it takes a month or two to sort of have a meaningful like trend impact on the market. You might see a little spike that day and then just back down to where it was, but then a month or two later, that's where you start to see it really affecting the market. So we'll see how this all plays out. If you're long term like I am, I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Ethereum's going to the 10,000 level. It's going to 15. Is it going to 60,000 like Tom Lee says? I don't know about this cycle, but we're all going higher no matter what. We just got to be patient.
Before we let Nate talk about gold here, Protagonist says A0 recovery ? I'm not familiar with that. We'll need to look into that, but thanks for the question. That's not one of the projects that we really know too much about, so at least I don't have any comments, and I don't know if you do.
Alpha Zero, I believe it's either an interoperability play or it's a like a DeSci project. I definitely have heard of it before. I believe it actually came out last cycle. Kind of towards.
Yeah, I don't know much about it. I've seen that ticker. Excuse me. I remember it. Yeah, there was getting some hype at one point in one of the groups I was in. A guy was a big investor and had been doing well at that time. Look, older projects are tough because there's a bias towards new projects. But of course, if it has utility, it has a good community. It looks like it's running up a little bit today. This one's listed on a bunch of exchanges, decent volume. Although really sort of, yeah. Currently not looking great, but maybe a little pump today. Yeah, I don't know anything about it, but
it's only down like 95%.
$450 million market cap down to 7. Sheesh. And do we have people concerned about?
Yeah, almost 500 million actually. 495.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I guess that's a good problem to have in the time. You made it to 400, 500 million, but Lord, you think you would have been able to capitalize and get some revenue and some profits that you wouldn't let it be able to drop all that 5 million market cap. Interesting. Privacy is a sector that's coming back. There's people talking about needing privacy. You had Horizon launch on Base recently for privacy functions. So I mean, I think that is, and ZK Snarks and everything could be a sector, but that does well. But we need altcoins to come back. I mean, AI projects aren't even doing good, and that's the most hyped thing. You need alt season to be here, retail to be in, and then these random narratives and these random sectors can actually gain users, gain revenue, and gain some price action on their charts. Privacy is one that probably does well when that time comes. It's talked about a lot, along with AI. Maybe GameFi has another run. It seems like GameFi has a run every cycle and just can't really always put the pieces of the puzzle together for longevity.
Yeah, it's tough. Tough when you launch the bear market, or tough if you have to go through that bear market to keep attention. Trends cycle out so fast. You're hot one day, you're not the next. So it's not to say this is a bad project. I love that the aspects. I love the privacy sector. I think it's very, very important. But hopefully these guys are well capitalized. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Swimming up against the tide here. Altcoin's not doing well, and then expecting an older project to just run back to its previous all-time highs, do another 100 times where it's at or whatever. I don't know. I mean, it seems like a big challenge, but who's to say it can't happen? Narratives can catch fire, projects can catch fire, even if they are older. So we can keep tuning in, man, and we can check in on that one on occasion. Hopefully, it continues to do well here. Seeing it on a green day. Not doing as well as gold, I guess, though.
Yeah, and the real thing I wanted to point out here is you guys, you're talking about, are we cutting rates? Are we going up? Are we going sideways? Like, at the end of the day, the writing's on the wall. The clock's ticking for the dollar and all fiat assets. Gold's pumping to new all-time highs. U.S. debt in just 2 months, from July 2nd to August 26th, it went up $1 trillion in 2 months. Nice. Right? Like if you want to talk about Bitcoin, you want to talk about these hard assets versus the dollar. There's gold. Here's the national debt. Like, that tells you what you need to know right there. Not much else needs to be said.
It's so hard to stop. It's so hard to stop the money printing train when the national debt continues to inflate. Inflation continues. Interest rates make that national debt cost even more, especially if they don't cut them. We'll see what happens. And it's hard to stop the momentum. Even though you had Doge save like $500 billion in government spending, even though you have tariffs that are on target to earn 500 billion, so that's $1 trillion of revenue. You can't offset the interest rate that's costing like $1 trillion a year alone. So it's a recipe for
Those things.
disaster. It's
The
how slow you can slow the train down.
We were nibbling around the edges with Doge, and nibbling out, and even these tariffs, and even the income on the tariffs is a drop in the bucket, sadly enough, because the three big drivers of the debt is entitlement spending, right? That's Social Security, that's Medicare, and that's Medicaid. And the other big thing is military, right? We don't seem to want to slow down our military spending. That always goes up every year, or every time they do a budget. And then just interest payments on the debt itself. So those three things are like 80% of the spending. And then you're just like arguing over the remaining 20%, cutting this there, the other, the little tiny program here, there, the other. It doesn't really make a difference if you're talking about the long-term expenditures of the U.S. government. So it's been like this since probably World War II. I guess when we went off the gold standard, it's just the government spends more than it takes in. It has to print more money to make up the difference. Value of the dollar continues to drop. This will happen basically in perpetuity. Up until maybe Rome falls. Hopefully that doesn't happen in our lifetime or our kids' lifetime. But what do you do about it? You can't do jack squat about it, right? Because we're just little people here with a YouTube channel. You're just a little guy. You're not the president of the United States, and even he can't stop it.
You gotta pull the Argentina treatment. You got to do the Argentina treatment and just cut out everything that isn't meaningful. Argentina has saved itself. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen, though. What does he say? A Fuevo or whatever, just ripping off all the departments like a Fuevo, education department, see ya, get rid of all of it. Social Security, cut it off. It shouldn't even. Social Security shouldn't even exist anymore, to be honest. Like, yes, the people that are already, you should just have a card cutoff day. If you're 35 years old or older, you're not getting it. You're not gonna 35 or younger, you're not getting it. Everybody who's already in, sure. People like us would be.
You're not wrong, but that is it. You talk about political suicide. I mean,
and the thing is with Social Security as well is like it was put into place because they thought you were too dumb to be able to save for your retirement. It's like I would rather keep that money in my paycheck and invest it myself. And most people should be able to do that now, or you can get Edward Jones to do it. All it is rob Peter to pay Paul. That you're trusting the government with your money. You're never going to get that money back, and the government has proven they're not good with your money. So. I think a lot of that should be cut. Also, EBT is hundreds of billions of dollars a year, and it's supposed to be for people who are disabled. Well, you see on TikTok these people going to the stores and celebrating and dancing, spending their EBT. All that should be cut too. Gone. Goodbye. Like that. It's the nature of the beast. We're overextended. We're still the #1 country in the world, but the government subsidies all need to stop. They shouldn't exist anymore. And you can say political suicide, but when you have the power, some of these guys have the balls and do it. What's his face in Argentina did it and is slowly saving his country. The inflation is back down to like 20-something% there. It was at like 3,000% inflation. It's back down to 20. You got to cut the fat, and it's going to cause some short-term pain. But the writing is on the wall, and it could get very ugly for the USD moving forward. And we're still the #1 global reserve currency, but people are in pain. That's part of what people voted Trump in, and he is doing some stuff. You have the Doge, you have the tariffs, you have the gold card, but it still shows even with somebody in there that's trying to cut the fat. We're still sliding down. We're still a snowball rolling down the hill. It's crazy.
Well, to be fair, the big beautiful bill, I believe, does quite a bit to cut out excessive spending on. I think it was Medicaid. That may have also included some EBT reform, some food stamp reform as well. So I think big beautiful bill did some stuff there, but probably not enough. And then Social Security, man. Yeah, I agree with you. Everyone should be able to just invest their money in the stock market or in wherever, and we don't need the government to do it for us because they're bad at it, and it's a terrible outcome, and it's cost us way too much. But it's political suicide. How are you going to tell people, oh, you don't get free money, or you don't get the money that you thought you were going to get? That's like dead.
Yeah, the thing is, we're in the age class of where I think that the cutoff would be. It's like, all right, if you're 45 years or older, you're going to still get your Social Security card. 45 years or later, hey, you don't have to pay Social Security anymore. Hey, Nick, you paid into it for the past 20 years, but hey, at least you don't got to spend it anymore, and you probably weren't going to get it anyways, because who's to say how long you're actually going to live and what they're going to pay you? It might be political suicide. It might be, but You just got to explain in a way that, hey, this is for the next generation. This is for the betterment of the country. And no longer will you see on your pay stub that Social Security money going out that you have to wait 30 years for that you may or may not get back. You get to keep it in your pocket right here, right now. And that probably also stimulates the economy because that's, $50, $100, $200 per pay period for people that isn't just going to hey, trust me, bro, we'll get your money back in 30 years from now from the government.
Well, they'll print more to pay, what they owe you. Of course, your dollars will be worth squat then. So, yeah, it's a whole big mess. I completely agree. And this is one big reason why, it's funny. You read this article. Is the Bitcoin bear market about to start with 50K bottom target? It's funny. You read this article, and it goes through, historical trends vis-a-vis the halving would suggest that, you'd have a bear market. But, the analyst goes on to say, I really don't think that's going to happen. This market is unlike, this cycle is unlike anything before it, thanks to the presence of institutional investors. And essentially, he doesn't even think the 4-year halving cycle is still in place. And he thinks this market's still going higher. So, even the people that are talking about the 4-year halving are like, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that in October we would have a massive crash. Right after the Fed cuts rate, we have a massive crash, a 50% correction on Bitcoin because, that's what history says is going to happen. That's the only, there's no other reason other than it happened before. And so even the guys talking about this happening are saying it's probably not going to happen.
Well, I think we got a call coming up here in a minute, don't we?
We sure do, gentlemen. We sure do.
Might need to cut this short. Before we take off, just a quick shout out. Checking the numbers here. I see some friends of ours online. Bitcoin Ben, John Karp of the NFC Summit, doing some live streams right now. Combined, they are just outpacing the Crypto Paradise fam tuned in right now. So shout out to the Crypto Paradise fam. Over 300 people tuned in already tonight. And that's just on X. All the comments you were seeing, everybody tuning in that got put up on the screen, they're coming from YouTube. So combine those together, I think we got them licked. But shout out to John Karp at the NFC Summit. Shout out Bitcoin Ben. We should... Those would be some good communities we should reach out to, get those guys on here sometime. But yeah, remember, always like, reshare, give it a comment. That all really helps the algorithm, helps get more people on here, helps us provide more opportunities to give back to you guys in the mini app, through the giveaways that we do, etc., through buybacks and burns of the surf token, so on and so forth. So appreciate everybody that's tuning in. All of this, none of this would be possible without you. And all of this is for you guys to help, again, educate and help, work as a community to make sure we can all get out of that 9 to 5 and onto the beach somewhere.
Yeah, before we wrap it up, 200,000 surf to get in the Dow, 400,000 surf to get in the Frontier Fund. I have not seen what they did over the weekend, but so far they have started this round that we told you guys to get in. They've started hot with producing over 1% per day in yield, in gains for your investment. So we'll see how this round plays out. You can bet your bottom dollar if they get 15% or more in your pocket, we're going to be shilling it again for the next round. So hopefully you guys buy the cheap surf, 400,000, and can get into the next round of the Frontier Fund. And that is a great passive investment opportunity that is only possible for surf token holders, and it has been killing it once again to start this round.
Yeah, thank God for Frontier Fund, right? I mean, the altcoin market's done nothing. If you're sitting on Ethereum like I was, you're pretty happy, but otherwise you're probably a little bit bored and pissed off right now. But if you're in Frontier Fund, you're making a little bit of money every day, aren't you now? So, shout out to everyone who took the leap, got in there, got their 400,000 surf, and absolutely, like Hans just said, where'd you go? Smash the like. Smash the like. Thank you guys. Appreciate you all. We will be back tomorrow with another live stream because we come at you every single day with news, analysis, funny anecdotes. Who knows? Maybe we'll be talking about the Eagles again. When I believe.
Hey, that's the play. We don't have an alpha pick for you, but go money line on the Eagles tonight at home. I don't know if I have the balls to do the points, but take the money line, make 80% on your money, and then dump it into the crypto market. I'll be giving you some sports bets. I like sports betting. Haven't done it as much because less liquid cash with altcoins not doing too much. But football, we usually do pretty well on. Money line, Eagles, is there an upset? I hope not, because I'm putting some money down on it tonight.
Boom. Love it, guys. Good stuff.